Hello, I'm Food Daniel. Here are my predictions for WFA Week 3, games to be played on April 16th. Philadelphia Phantoms, the Richmond Black Widows. Okay, two new teams. Phantoms are 1-1, the Black Widows are 2-0. Phantoms have played the tougher opponents. I expect Philadelphia to win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. DC Divas, the Boston Renegades. This is a marquee matchup. Now, of course, last week was marquee matchup DC and Dallas, and I think everybody's surprised by how thoroughly Dallas dominated the game. Is that going to happen this week? I don't think so. I do expect Boston to win, though. The return of Whitney Zealy, she's the kind of player who having her in the lineup does make a difference. I expect Boston to win, but it'll be close. I'll say by 2 touchdowns or less, Boston will win. Toledo Rain at the Keystone Assault. Well, Keystone got beat 40-0 by Philadelphia last week. Toledo, they didn't play last week, but in Week 1 they lost to Pittsburgh. I believe it was 28-0. I don't know too much about these teams. Well, I'll say Toledo by not by too much, by 2 or 3 touchdowns, probably closer to 2. Again, I don't know much about either one of those teams, though. Okay, Atlanta Phoenix, the Fayetteville Fierce. Well, Atlanta, the best team in the Southeast, versus the Fayetteville Fierce, a brand new team who played their first ever game last week and lost 26-0. Gruesome win for the Phoenix. Gruesome. Yeah, the Fierce will get their wins, but not this week. Hang in there, Fayetteville. Okay, the Tri-Cities Thunder at the Huntsville Tigers. Okay, these are two teams in the WSFL, and back then, Tri-Cities had no problem with Huntsville, and I expect they'll have no problem here. I'll say Tri-Cities by 4 or 5 touchdowns. I like the Huntsville Tigers, though. They've been around for a long time, yes. Alabama Fire at the Derby City Dynamite. Now, the Dynamite season hasn't gone very well for them so far this year. They lost their first game 70-something-0, lost their second game 74-0, but they were both against top-shelf opponents. The first against St. Louis and the second against Atlanta. So Derby City might be much better than 2 70-0 blowouts indicated. The Alabama Fire, though, they win their first game 72-0, their second game 98-0. My God! But again, those are against bottom feeder teams. I expect Alabama to win this game. I expect it'll be a gruesome win for the Alabama Fire. I can't believe I'm saying that about a team, a brand new team and only the third ever game, but gruesome win for the Fire. Gruesome. But I am looking forward to seeing Alabama play one of the upper level teams and see how good this team really is. Okay, the Tampa Bay Inferno at the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. Okay, Tampa Bay. Very close win against a top-shelf Atlanta team in Week 1, and a convincing win against Daytona, 38-12 in Week 2. Jacksonville, what did Jacksonville do? They didn't play last week. What did they do in Week 1? They beat the Orlando Anarchy 56-0. I expect Tampa Bay to win this game. It'll be a good game, though. I'll say about 2 touchdowns or less. Tampa Bay will win. Daytona Wave Runners of the Orlando Anarchy. I dig the Anarchy. I really want to see them win some games. But I expect Daytona to win this one. And I think it'll be by 3 or 4 touchdowns. I'd love to be wrong, though. I mean, I like the Wave Runners, but I really like the Anarchy, too. Okay, let's go out west. Kansas City Titans at the Mile High Blaze. Well, the Mile High Blaze had one victory against an out-of-league opponent, so it's hard to get a read on them. Well, Kansas City Titans upended the St. Louis Slam last week, and I got all sorts of flack for it. Deservedly so. I got it wrong. I expect Kansas City will win this game. I'll say by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Houston Power at the Austin Outlaws. Okay, the Austin Outlaws got beat 70-0 by Arlington last week, and they lost their first game to the Acadiana Zydeco, something like 40-something to 20-something. Houston Power, they played one game. They lost to Dallas 58-0, but that doesn't tell you anything. So I really have no clue how this is going to turn out. But I still get the feeling Austin is still, picking itself up after losing all their players to the other Austin team last year. I'll say Houston, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Probably closer to 2. Yeah. Arlington Impact at the Acadiana Zydeco. I love the Acadiana Zydeco, you know that. But the Arlington Impact, they're a real good team. I hate to say it, but gruesome win for the Impact. Love to be proven wrong, though. Prove me wrong, Acadiana. Okay, let's go to the Northwest. Here's an interesting one. This is interesting. This is the game I'd go to if I could teleport. Seattle Majestics at the Portland Fighting Shockwave. Okay. Everyone's saying that with the merger of the Portland Fighting Phillies and the Portland Shockwave, maybe this Voltron of a Portland team can finally compete against Seattle Majestics. We'll find out. The Majestics, last week they beat the Tacoma Trauma by a surprisingly close score of 13-0, while the Shockwave beat the brand new Southern Oregon Lady Renegades by a surprisingly close score of 29-8. Hard to say what's going on in the Northwest. I still think Seattle's going to win this game. It'll be much closer by what I thought it would have been last week, though. I'm going to say by 10 points or less, Seattle will win this game. Won't be too much of a surprise if I'm mistaken, but no, I think Seattle will win. And another Northwest game, the Everett Reign at the Southern Oregon Lady Renegades. Okay, these brand new Lady Renegades. They lost their first game to Tacoma, 13-12. They lost their second game to Portland, 29-8. For a brand new team, with mostly ladies who've never done this before, in a city as remote and as small as it is, that's pretty remarkable. That's remarkably good. Who are these ladies? Well, the Reign, they lost their opener in Seattle 34-0, and they had a bye last week. I feel the Lady Renegades, they're going to win a game this year. I don't see them going 0-8. Will it be this week? It might be. I dig the Everett Reign. They're real nice to me. Boy, this is a hard one. Probably because I don't know who these Renegade ladies are. Who are these ladies? No prediction. No prediction. I don't know enough here to make any sort of confident prediction at all. I'll tell you one thing for sure, though. I'm gonna go to Medford and see who these Lady Renegades are. May 21st. I'm gonna go to their game on May 21st. I want to see what they are. Yes. Okay, here's one that's easy to predict. Pacific Warriors at the West Coast Lightning. Well, gruesome win for the Pacific Warriors. Warriors lost their opener to the Central Cal War Angels 37-14. The same War Angels who beat the West Coast Lightning 72-0 in the first game of the season. The Lightning last week, they beat the Ventura Wolfpack 68-0. But I was at the Lightning loss to the War Angels, and while they do have some good skill players, and I don't think they're going to go winless on the year, the Pacific Warriors are just too damn good. Their loss to the War Angels notwithstanding. Pacific's got this. And finally, there's one game that had to be forfeited. The Ventura Wolfpack at the Utah Blitz. The Wolfpack have already forfeited the game. That's a damn shame because that's lost. That's a home game that the Blitz aren't going to have. It's lost revenue. I certainly hope that the Ventura Wolfpack game where they host the Utah Blitz doesn't get canceled, because I would love to be able to see the Blitz without having to drive 11 hours. Only a 5-hour drive. So if anybody's listening, Utah Blitz at the Ventura Wolfpack for later in the season, Make it happen, please. And that completes my predictions for WFA Week 3. Thank you.